Changemakers, Danielle here, founder of thesedge.org, and that is where you are probably seeing this video, if not on the Facebook page live, but maybe later on the blog with some summary notes. So thanks for tuning in. This is part of my 4 years in 4 weeks challenge to do a daily Facebook Live once a day for 4 weeks, not on the weekends, because I like to try and take a break on the weekends, and just to take some time to summarize some of the lessons learned over the past 4 years since launching The Sedge, and also share those with you so that, you know, if you're going through a similar type of experience or have similar questions or are curious just to know more background about how this has been going over the last 4 years and what I've been up to, then I wanted to share that with you. And yeah, it's been a fun challenge. And luckily, we do have some roofers redoing our roof this week. They just started yesterday. And luckily right now, it was raining today and they're not here. So we don't have any loud bangs or noises to interrupt us today, which is good. Okay, so what I wanted to talk about, we're now midway through the 3rd year of lessons learned, over halfway now. And in 2015, was it 2016? Early 2016 was the time frame when I actually wrote my first book, wrote and published. So I did that with Solène, my now business partner. At the time, we had done some loose collaborations, like webinars and that type of thing, and had started the Global Social Entrepreneurs Lab on Facebook, a group. And I talk about a lot of that in some other live streams. But writing a book was our first kind of big project together that had a very, clear outline and start to finish and time frame and a very tangible end result. So I thought I would bring my hard copy of the book here to use as my prop today as I talk about this. So yeah, I wanted to just share more of the behind the scenes of that process of writing this book, which you might be interested to know wasn't necessarily going to be a full book when we started. So we had the idea to write on this topic, collaboration, meeting of the minds, the social entrepreneur's roadmap for collaborations that work. And the reason we wanted to talk about this topic was because our collaborations had been going really well and we were having a lot of fun with it. And people were asking us, actually, I think the first thing that kicked it off is somebody wanted to meet with us because they had an idea for how we could all work together. And it was an interesting conversation, but it was very apparent to us that the way that person wanted to approach this idea of collaborating was not very effective. So he essentially met with us and said, yes, and then we'll launch this thing together and we'll do this together and we'll work on that together. And there was no kind of rapport building. There was no, what are you guys working on? What are your plans for the future? Is there even a fit? And I noticed this trend, and Solène did as well, with different change makers and social entrepreneurs that we would meet with, our peers or even people we were working with. And there's this tendency, I think, for social entrepreneurs to be so excited about their vision and their plans, and they see how other people can help them achieve their plans, which of course is a wonderful thing. Everybody, it takes lots of people to accomplish things sometimes, but the approach didn't seem constructive on the whole. And the reason was because there was less of a I was going to say emphasis, but it's almost more of an awareness of approaching collaborations in a way that's going to work really well sustainably for achieving those goals. And the big piece for that is to make sure that everybody who's in on it has, that the common goal reinforces their individual goals as well, and that the common shared project is truly a good fit strategy-wise and timing-wise for whatever reason. It could be a lot of different reasons for every single person involved. Otherwise, it's not a true collaboration, and you lose kind of that equal footing that I believe makes a collaboration really successful. So we, in long story short, started to notice this kind of trend among changemakers and had a lot to say about the topic. And we discussed the idea of putting our thoughts into written format. And I think when I first suggested it to Solène, I was thinking, let's write, a PDF opt-in kind of form. Like you guys know, when you're online, there's a lot of different resources that you can access either for free or very, very inexpensively. And that's what I was picturing at first, a very kind of small project. But then when we started talking about the content more and what we would want to include, what we wanted to say and outline, it was growing a little bit. And Solène said, why don't we just publish it as a real book? Like, why not? We're taking it, 80% of the way. It's not that much more to move a piece of written content from, a PDF that you download online to a physical book, which is what we learned and what we did. And I think this might be something that not everybody realizes is not a huge, huge, huge leap to go from sharing your content in any other kind of format, like a blog post or even videos like this, and just taking a bit more time to organize it and flesh it out into something that could be a real life book like this. And kind of that extra 20% that we decided to go for, really what that involved after the thing was written was some formatting, coming up with a cover page, and navigating some of the online tools that are available through Amazon these days. So self-publishing is incredibly accessible to anybody, and it was very affordable to get it set up. And now we have this wonderful book that we self-published. So I just want people to know, I want to tell this story so that you know that you can write a book too. And there really aren't as many barriers as you might feel there are if you just decide this is something that you want to do. So I actually wrote an entire blog post about this on our Changemakers Association blog. So you can find it on Medium, and I'll put the link here. And we're also almost done redoing our new website, so it'll be on the new website as well. And so some of kind of the steps or phases that I was thinking about when I wrote that blog post, I just want to highlight a few of them in this video so that it's all in one spot here as well. And the one thing that I think trips people up when they're thinking about writing a book and they want to write one is this feeling like it has to be the biggest, best, it has to be the epitome of me inside these pages. And that's a lot of pressure. So my first tip would be to take that pressure off yourself and not feel like you have to distill your life's learning and life's lessons down into one little book, because that is a big project. That could be a lifelong project. And not to say that you won't strive to write a book like that one day, but you don't need to start there. In fact, I don't know why you would. That's just too much pressure. It's nice to practice, right? So even just taking a topic that you're passionate about, that you have a lot to say on, and it doesn't need to be representative of you as a entire person. It can, or your entire career. It can be one slice of it that is still a very important thread in your work, but that you can relieve some of that pressure for it to be so amazing, and really just focus on getting the messages out there to the people who are interested in it. So that's what we did with this book is, it's a very specific topic, collaborations for social entrepreneurs, talk about niche, but we had so much to share about it. And it was a lot of fun to write it and pull it. It came together pretty quickly because we had lots of stories and experience and ideas about how social entrepreneurs specifically could frame their collaborations so that they could be really effective and not run into the experience that we were on the other end of, where somebody says, I really want to work with you guys, and I see us doing this, this, and this. And the person on the other end is going, well, I think we skipped a step because I'm not on the same page yet. Yes, your project sounds great, but like, you don't even know what I'm up to. So how can we agree that this is going to be a good partnership until we have kind of laid the foundation? And so that's a lot of what we talk about in the book as well. So yeah, take the pressure off and then start outlining your ideas. So, you know, if you think of filling an entire book worth of information, you might feel like you don't have enough to say on the topic. But I guarantee if you start outlining the different things that you want to cover and kind of ruminating on it, you know, sleeping on it, do it over a few weeks or a month even while you're working on other projects, and just start to digest what you might want to say about that topic and how you would structure it, and start compiling all of your ideas into one outline. And I think you'll find that it comes together pretty quickly if it's a topic that you're excited about and passionate about and have some experience in. Of course, those are all going to make it a lot easier. And then you can start to kind of slowly go through and start fleshing out each of those sections after you have your outline done, and it kind of reduces the overwhelm. So instead of feeling like you have to write, let's see, how many pages is this? And it's not even that long, our book. It's 117 pages. And there's, you know, white space and quotes and lists and all kinds of things. But yeah, once you start, instead of feeling like you have to write all those pages at once, you just go to your outline and go, what do I feel compelled to write about today? And just start expanding that one bullet point. And if you do that once a day, eventually you will have a lot written, and it will all be useful and relevant to your big picture outline that you've mapped out. So that's how we approached it, and it worked really well for us. I think everybody has different, you know, affinities to how they like to write and how they like to work, but that was our suggestion. And we tend to be pretty plan and execute type of people, so it worked really well for us. And we were able to split the outline and each tackle certain parts of it and then bring it together and edit it together. So, you know, see what's going to work for you, but that would be my suggestion. And the other thing is to think about the goal and the scope of the book, right? So as you can imagine, some books are a lifetime of work, and they are, you know, distilling a lot of a life philosophy or a career philosophy or approach into, you know, one thesis that you can share in your book. And sometimes a lot of those need quite a bit of research and different, research to back up everything that you're saying, to paint the picture of what's been explored before and how your thoughts are different and all of that. And so that's great. And if you want to write that kind of book, you definitely need to give yourself more time. But one thing that we did in our book is it's not a theoretical research-based anything. It's a practical roadmap. It's a kind of a toolkit. It has questions, you know, ask yourself this when you're, before you start working with a new partner, or we have case studies in here. We have, it's very practical, and it's almost the kind of book where you could throw it open and read a chapter, you know, in an hour or probably less. I don't know how long it would take to read, and get some good insight out of it. And it doesn't, in this case, require a lot of research or anything like that. So that helped us complete the project faster. And we knew that we wanted to create a really kind of actionable type of book, and have it be super, you know, user friendly and not really dense or heavy with a lot of research inside of it. Because that's, you know, the goal of what we each do separately and together is to help people take action in meaningful and efficient and effective ways. So it just made sense for us and for this topic. So, you know, if you are thinking, I would love to write a book one day, you know, consider some of these ideas, and you might realize that you can do it sooner than you thought. Because once you have all the content ready to go, there are a lot of people who can help you take it that final 20%, you know, with editing, with a cover, getting it set up on CreateSpace. So that was what we used. Is Amazon has a platform where you can self-publish. And unlike even self-publishing, you know, 5 or 10 years ago, where you could self-publish, but then you'd still have to order a certain number of books and maybe deal with fulfillment and all of that mess. Like, who wants to deal with that? Amazon's CreateSpace allows you to set up your file in the right format that they need. And it's listed on Amazon, and we never touch the printing press. You know, we never get piles of books of inventory. Literally, if somebody goes and buys a hard copy of our book on Amazon, they print it and ship it on demand. So the pricing, you know, makes sense. It's not like we're outlaying a bunch of money up front to get all these copies and then hope that we can sell them, or, you know, have that kind of costing pressure. So, I mean, in this, with tools like that, it really reduces the barriers to publishing your own work. And I mean, that's great. You can get your ideas out to so many more people at a very affordable price. And it can be a nice intro offer as well, depending, you know, who your clients or customers are that you want to work with. Maybe there is a topic or something you want to share that could lend itself really well to a book format that you can offer either as, you know, a bonus to some of your customers, or as a, you know, get to know me and what I'm all about in this very affordable, small package, nicely packaged up book. So I think it's a really great tool, and it was a fun project. And we ended up doing it fairly quickly. If I were to redo it again, I might have expanded our timeline a little bit. It all worked out in the end, you know, but I could foresee us in the future re-releasing it with potentially some more, like a different editing structure, or even more content, or, you know, just to have more, now that we've had more time to sit with it, there might be some things we'd want to improve. But for kind of the first kick at the can, the first go at self-publishing a book, we did it in about 3 months. And obviously there's 2 of us, so the writing is a lot easier in that we could split that and that it was, you know, not research heavy or anything like that. So all of that helped allow us to do it in that time frame. But yeah, so I just wanted to share kind of the behind the scenes of how that all came to be. And I can also share the blog post that I wrote about it. What else? I guess the other thing is you definitely need to have a plan to promote your book when it's done. So one thing about our time frame being short, and also we had decided to launch Changemakers Association pretty close after that. So I think we published this kind of in March 2016, March, April, and then by June 1st, we had started the membership site. So between April and June, we had, you know, built an entire membership community, planned a launch, completed the launch, and filled our membership with 2 full modules before we opened the doors end of May. So for that reason, we didn't do much promotion of the book after we finished it. And since then, we've been working really hard on Changemakers Association itself. So I would recommend, something we didn't do is build in some promotional time and promotional plan when your book is done, so that you can get it out in front of people faster and really start sharing it and helping whoever it is you want to read the book to access it and know about it earlier than later, sooner than later, right? So that's one thing I think we'll go back and revisit, is to do a bit more of a formal launch or promotional period around the book itself, because it's it's just been here available for us to integrate into all of our other stuff. And we do use it, we do sell it and share it in some of our programs, but we never really actively promoted it. So that's something we can still do now that it's done. Yeah, so I see we have a few people joining live. If you guys have any questions, let me know. And otherwise, I might wrap up here. Just checking out my blog post to see if there's anything else that I wanted to share about it. There's so much to know. You know what? There's a lot of good resources about self-publishing, especially because there's tools now to support individuals or small businesses or entrepreneurs to self-publish their books. So that means there's a lot of content around that, a lot of advice that you can find if you Google, how do I figure out if my book topic is a good one, or how do I set up my outline for my book, or how do I self-publish on CreateSpace and Amazon. If you Google all of those things, you'll get a lot of specifics, a lot of help. And I guess the last thing I'll say about it is we really did kind of the bare minimum DIY version in terms of we could have gone a lot further in terms of investing in more design help or investing in more editing help or really bringing professionals on board. And that would have been great. But we really just wanted to get it out there. And so we did a lot of it ourselves. We did all of it ourselves. And I think it worked out great. But know that you don't have to just do the bare minimum as well in terms of if you're really wanting to take it up a notch, and if this is going to be a huge central piece of your business or your brand or your career, then you definitely want to take more time with it and invest in some professional help in terms of editing and design and even the promotion side of things. So I'm not saying you shouldn't do that. I just want you to know it's possible if you do want to do it yourself and get it out into the world. And it would be a really fun thing for you to have under your belt and a fun way to share your message to a lot more people. So yeah, do you guys have any questions? Let me know. Where are you tuning in from? Is anybody there who wants to talk to me? On these, on my 4-week challenge, I've gotten a little bit maybe too used to talking to myself because people hop on and off and watch the replay, but it's always a bit weird on Facebook Live when I'm literally talking to myself. I can see myself in 2 places on my screen and I can't see you guys, but I know you're there. Anyways, don't be shy. Maybe not today, but if you catch me on another day, I would love for you to say hi and let me know where you're tuning in from and if you have any questions or comments, of course. Okay, so we'll see you guys around. I have, I guess, 7 more left. Thursday, Friday, tomorrow and Friday this week and then next week. And I may condense the last couple because if I go right until next Friday, then we'll see how things go. But I'm getting married on Saturday. So that's going a bit close to the wedding, the big day, which maybe will be organized and maybe I'll be good to do a Facebook Live that day. Or on Thursday, if things are looking like there's going to be a lot of work on the Friday to prep for our wedding, I may just skip the very last day. But we'll see. I'll let you guys know. Okay, so have a great day. We'll talk soon. Bye.